Hello, Real Writers. Chris here for another Sunday afternoon Journal with Me session. Thanks for joining me. I would just like to take a moment and note that if you've been following along from the beginning, we've hit the 6-week mark, which I think is worth noting. Anything you do over a month is supposed to be a habit. I know people vary on the number of days that takes, but I just use like a month. And I feel when I think about the fact that I was not journaling regularly and how frustrating that was for me and how annoyed I was with myself, not even to jot down a few lines every day. Like I couldn't even do those 5-year journals. I have several of them that people have given me that I love, and they have maybe 3 lines per day per year, and every page of the month, say today, June 8th, would have 5 years on it, 3 lines each. And I can't even do that. So I'm feeling really good about this. It makes me feel calmer about tuning into my week, my life, my feelings, all of it. And I hope that it's doing the same for you, and maybe even encouraging you to think about picking up your journal during the week, if not daily. Please don't feel pressure to do it daily. I don't mean that you have to do it daily, but personally for me, I wasn't doing it for months, and I was carrying my journal around and not doing anything with it except maybe writing down some writing ideas, the start of a poem, a grocery list, the bills I'd paid, the phone number to a message I was listening to on a voicemail, which, that's fine too. That's daily life, but it's not deeper daily life, which I was missing. And I hope that this is creating that for you. So much as I love the Wild Intention deck, I need to work with it some more because the rituals in there are kind of involved most of the time and require supplies I don't have. So I've sort of put it away, and that's making me sad because it's like cooking. I don't like cooking, sorry. And just too many things to buy, too many ingredients, too many steps. Even if it's 3 things, I get annoyed. I want food to just pop out fixed, cooked immediately, which is not realistic unless we live probably 500 years from now when they figured out how to do that. So having a deck where I have to go collect supplies and things just makes me feel like kind of shut out from the idea. So no offense to Tamed Wild, because I love their stuff and I will still use the deck. It's just not going to work, I think, with what I wanted to do with these sessions on Sundays. So I'm exploring some of my other decks, which I am also going to use in my Tarot for Writers channel, which is really like Tarot/Oracle, Oracle for Writers, mostly Oracle. And I've had this deck for a while and I haven't really gotten into it much, so I would like to do that now. So this is the Spirit Animal Oracle deck from Colette Reid, the queen of decks. She's the queen, and she also has a wonderful tarot deck that I need to get. So if you're looking for decks, she is a fantastic place to start, and I have a lot of her decks, and I have used several, the Wisdom of the Oracle deck and another one whose name I can't remember, but I have several, so maybe I'll do a deck tour at some point on my other channel and show you the decks, and that I find that helps me. If you look up the decks on YouTube and you look at the deck tours, you can see if you want to buy the whole thing. Sometimes just one image on a deck can turn me off to the point where I don't want to use the deck. Maybe that's just me. I get sensitive to visual things. I don't know why. I think it's being a writer, etc. And maybe you have that too, that just one thing can just turn me off to a deck. Maybe I'm just weird. That's fine too. So we're going to look at this deck and pick one card to journal on together. And I also wanted to light this candle, which I bought at a local, I hate the term New Age bookstore. I really hate it because it's not really true anymore. I guess you could call it a metaphysical store. I think that's one of the better terms. So this is a creativity candle, and it smells so good. I'm sorry that you can't smell it. It's the essential oils used are plumeria, jasmine, and sandalwood, and I am an absolute, oh my gosh, sucker for jasmine. So, plus it's purple, and I think you've noticed my penchant for purple. So I wanted to light this candle, and it comes with a little card. If you buy these come with a little card and a little thing to read. So I am going to light it and read the card to start. So the card reads, "Let my mind be free from the burdens of the world. Allow me to explore new dimensions, discover new thoughts, ideas, and emotions." So let me read that again. And if you want, you could pause this along the way and write this in your journal at the top to help you with this session. Let my mind be free from the burdens of the world. Allow me to explore new dimensions, discover new thoughts, ideas, and emotions. And I'm trying not to hold it against the maker of this card that they didn't use the Oxford comma. We can get into that debate another time. So here's the deck. The back is lovely, and the colors are coming through pretty true on the video. Maybe a little more yellow than they are. There's more orange and pink, and there's like this sun flare effect at each end, which is lovely. So let's shuffle the cards and see what pops out. It's quite a thick, heavy deck, so it's hard to get your fingers around it, and this is always one of my issues with decks, is that they're often too big for your hands, and I wish people would just take that into consideration more. I don't think the image has to be as large as it is. So if you're ever considering making a deck, please make it so that you can hold it in your hand and it doesn't go flying all over the place, because that's not really helpful. I mean, that's one way of shuffling, but... And I like jumpers. I like cards that jump out. So we'll see if that happens. If not, I'll just pick one. But I prefer jumpers. Okay. So, the card we got today, oh my gosh, gorgeous, is Swan Spirit. And this is a little too, there's too much light here. So, let me turn. Not burn myself, that would be good. So, Swan Spirit, it says, time for a deep dive. And this is actually this amazing sort of salmon pink. It's just really beautiful. And the card number is 60. If you want to look up the numerology of that, I do not have that at my fingertips, but let's read up on Swan Spirit. Time to take a deep dive. And I'm going to lower this a little bit. She has a crown, this wonderful crown. Of, it looks like both flowers and light with some of these same swirls. Oh my goodness. Same swirls that are decorating all the way around. So, Swan Spirit. So, if something comes up for you while I'm looking this up, obviously, I think we know what we're all thinking, but if something comes up, feel free to write it down. Okay, so with their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When Swan Spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is knowledge you are not aware of and great treasures to discover. Deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand a situation or relationship. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so too will you come to better know others. So Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know there is much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, and mutual understanding. Choose to dive deep into your why. Asking the deeper questions of yourself, you are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. So let me read that again, because it goes in several different directions actually. With their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When Swan Spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is knowledge you are not aware of and great treasures to discover. Deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand a situation or relationship. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so too will you come to better know others. So Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know there is much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, and mutual understanding. Choose to dive deep into your why. Asking the deeper questions of yourself, you are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. So, I think you can go in two directions here with this card. One is one of the first things that said, you may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness. So if you're in the middle of making a change or a decision, small or large, just pick something that's bugging you, and you are not sure what to do, you might want to journal on that idea and take a deeper dive, because whatever you think is best for you may not actually be what's best for you. So that's one option. Then it seems there's another option here to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. So if you're going through something with another person or a group, something at work, something with family, something with friends, something with neighbors, something you can think larger, community, city, state, the world at large, the country, whatever you want. You could journal on the idea of who you're judging and why, and try to get beyond that. That's another idea. And then there's just the third option, it seems, that choose to dive deep into your why. Maybe you can just ask yourself, write the question why at the top of your page and see what comes up. And don't write why not. And then put your pen down. Nope, we're not doing that. So those three might be options for you. Rethinking a decision that you think you know it's best for you. If you may be in some situation where you're judging others, and just the general question why. And also, if you want to go by the traditional idea of the swan, if you want to go with that, the ugly duckling into a swan kind of thing, feel free. I mean, if that's what came up for you, go for it. If none of these others appeal, you can also apply that to the others. How can you turn any situation that is happening right now or going on, or relationship that seems ugly duckling, how can you turn it into a swan? How can you contribute to that transformation? And if you don't want to, because boy, do I understand that. You're in conflict with something or someone, or you feel very strongly about something and you don't want to change. You don't want to change. It feels good to be like, sometimes you think, well, it feels good to, I'm right and that feels good. Why would I want to change that, right? So you might not be right. You might want to take that into consideration. So, how could you turn it around, turn an ugly duckling situation into a swan or a relationship, etc. And if you don't want to, you could also journal on why you don't want to. That's also valid. That could be your question. Why? Why don't you want to change something that feels or seems or looks ugly duckling into a swan? And then go dive deep into that. So those are some suggestions. And I have no idea what I'm picking, what I'm going to choose. So let's journal on that for 10 minutes together. we've reached the 10-minute mark, a little over, I think. Please do keep journaling if you'd like. Just pause here and keep going if you'd like. And I'm going to read the candle invocation one more time before we go. Let my mind be free from the burdens of the world. Allow me to explore new dimensions, discover new thoughts, ideas, and emotions. I hope you did that today. Thank you for joining me, and happy writing.